all of those towns that I mentioned in the story, including the city of Cornegra itself, which was the capital for the province, that is inside this buffer zone. So if Israel takes over the buffer zone, it is legally taking over part of Cornegra province. Muhammad, down in the village of Kodena, the southern part of Cornegra province, which is under full military occupation by the Israelis, said that the Israelis went around Kodena distributing baskets of building supplies. But Muhammad found that Israel's efforts to win hearts and minds of the people that had just occupied were being distributed. And so Muhammad and his friends said that we rounded up the baskets, burned the whole pile, and put the video on the internet saying, we refuse any aid given by the occupation forces. In that same village is Anwar al-Shimli. He lived in Damascus. He had been back visiting Kodena, and an Israeli patrol pulled up to him and arrested him. They took him in these Humvees up into the military base they had constructed on the hill. He said there was an Israeli officer who interrogated him for about 4 or 5 hours inside this room in the base until they got tired, brought him back down to the village and let him go. He was so terrified that he went right back to Damascus. Kodena, it sounds like this happens a lot, that people get arrested. Kuwait, down in the far south, I've heard of a lot of armed resistance against the Israeli attempts to enter these villages, armed resistance in which Syrians have been killed. And then people in Khan Arnabe, I mean, they seem to live kind of normal lives at this point, surrounded by Israeli Humvees in their city. Medina to Selen, that village I lived in with the Israeli graffiti written in Hebrew, that seemed to have been a ghost town largely. And then Hadad, there was a much, much, much more cooperative relationship with the Israelis there. And actually, I was standing on the road with the Muhtad, who's kind of like the elected governing official mediator and the mayor kind of all mixed together, which is called the Muhtad for the village of Hadab, this Druze village. And we were standing inside the demilitarized zone just outside the village. And Israeli Humvees, a couple of Israeli Jeeps just drove right by us. They didn't stop or arrest us or question us or anything. I suspect that's because I was there with that Muhtad, who seemed to me to be on very good terms with the Israelis. So, yeah, it seems to differ quite a lot from village to village.